they have those hands, and they could also have, the ace 10, ace jack, ace queen of clubs, or ace queen of diamonds, and king queen of hearts. I have the ace of hearts, so they can't have those. So I think that, pretty much just need to call. Subscribe now to a front row seat for expert hand analysis and world-class cash game strategy. Okay, so hand number 1 versus my whaley friend playing 5-10 no limit. The button folds. We're playing 3-handed. I open small blind versus big blind with a king and a 9 of 2 different suits. And our friend, who's very splashy, 3-betting a ton, flatting a ton, just playing a lot of pots, decides to call and get in the mix. No real surprise there. We get a jackpot of a flop. We get king 9-6, 2 diamonds, so we flop top 2 pair. And this is the first decision point that we have here. With top 2, $60 in the pot. Villain has a 1,000. We essentially started with 100 big blinds each. Plan is almost certainly to bet. I guess there is an argument for check raising, though.
Yeah, I think the argument for check raising probably centers around just how likely to stab the wheel is. The more bluffy, the more stab heavy I perceive the wheel to be, I think the more checking goes up in value. But I think that, like you said, the sort of the standard play versus someone who's very splashy pre-flop and V-pips a lot is just to start betting right now, trying to target, everything from gut shots to 1 pair that I'm sure is none of those hands are going to be folding when you're playing against a player that's this profile.
Yeah, and on the flip side, a lot of those hands will bet too versus check. So I do think check raise is certainly a viable option. I start out with a third because that's my only size, really. Small blind versus big blind in 2-bet pots. Although, could definitely size up to like 75% here, I think, versus this profile. But, is what it is. We do get raised at a higher clip when we bet small, so there is that side benefit that we can bet 3-bet with our top 2 pair, which I think is pretty nice whenever that happens. But
you also get called by like hands that are almost drawing dead, I think, which is a nice part of like betting a third, right? Like versus 75%, I would expect them to fold, ace 10 or something like that. But I think versus a third, they're just going to continue a lot of hands that aren't going to call a larger size, and a lot of those hands, or most of those hands, are going to be in really tough shape versus 2 pair.
Yeah, so the whale does call. The turn's a 7, so 1 gut shot gets there, 8-10. Still feeling really excellent about our spot here with top 2 pair. Now villain has a lot of pair plus draw in the range, so like 7-8 and 8-9 and 9-10 and those types of hands. So wanted to bet here. I didn't want those hands to just check behind and get to over-realize their equity. So what sizing you feel is most appropriate here for top 2 pair on king 9-7-6, 2 diamonds?
Some sort of really big size. Anything from like, I think 75% would be small for me here. I think you can overbet and count on a whale just never folding any reasonable pair plus draw. There might even just be like normal, regular bad draws here, like a 10 or a naked 8 or a naked 5 that a whale doesn't fold. So personally, I think I'd probably just overbet here and really just go after hands like 6-8, 7-8, 8-9, 10-9, diamonds, queen jack, queen 10, and then obviously just hopefully he calls with a whole bunch of 1 pair hands too. So I think I'd go really big here and bet something close to like $125. Okay, 144. That's good.
Yeah. So I did overbet and everything's going according to plan. Whale called very quickly, so it's like, all right, great. Plan is, on blanks to most likely bet big again. If we can get the clean run out and fade some of the disaster cards like an 8 or a 5 or a 10. The river is not a complete disaster card, but it is not the greatest of cards either. It's the Jack of Diamonds, so it completes a front door flush draw. Our hand, our top 2 pair gets significantly demoted. Now villain has flushes in their range. Queen 10 was a double gut shot on the turn. An 8 or a jack makes a straight. And if villain has a hand like king jack, then they just made 2 pair. But They could also have like Jack 9. They could have a hand like Jack 10 that maybe finds a call in the river. Maybe they have like some kind of 2 pair. So I did feel like there was a significant amount of value that I could capture by betting. And if villain jams, which is the sad outcome of this hand, then I thought I could just fold. So my plan on the river was to just bet like 70% pot, hope to target their weak top pairs, their small 2 pairs, and whatever God only knows bluff catchers that they can find, and then fold to a jam if I did get jammed on.
Yeah, I think that would be exactly my plan as well. I think the one thing that is really important to like bet folding the spot is that I would assume that even a whale is way under bluffing when they decide to jam over our bet here. Also, it's really nice that we're also uncapped in this spot. We presumably get here with straights and flushes and very strong hands as well. So it's not like, it's not like we're just completely getting run over if we decide to have a bet folding range. So yeah, I really like the plan and just gotta pray that he doesn't stick it in.
No. Where's the timeline where we actually have the nut flush here? We have an uncapped range, so we bet 288, villain jams. I stuck to the plan and did just fold, but very sad because yes, we are uncapped, right? Like, and the hand that villain shows up with is also a little bit sad too because they do river straight on the flush completer, and we do have all the flushes, so quite sad that they just kind of got us with the bottom of our range, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think finding these bet folds and like having a plan for these bet folds is really important too. I think there definitely was a time not that long ago where like I used to think that like, man, the only size I can have on the river is like jam, and I would like totally miss these spots where you can just count on their raises to be under bluffed and bet fold hands like this. So yeah, I think honestly like the finding the bet folds or having that plan in mind once you see sort of the, like you said, not disaster jack of diamonds on the river, but definitely not our favorite river is really important for these spots. And it's also, I think it's really important for just even versus regs, right? Like I would also assume that, most regs are under bluffing when they jam this spot in position. So I think you could have a similar river plan versus even stronger players than this whale.
Yeah, I agree. And so the second hand that we have versus this whale, segueing on, for the listener, this was part of a P&E that's going to be posted later this week, and this whale absolutely tortured me. We're actually going to have a full episode on this whale, but it was too painful. I had too much PTSD and reliving all the times that this whale just absolutely obliterated me. So we only have 2 hands versus this whale, and then we have another hand that, yeah, is not against this guy. But yeah, this hand to set up, we have the ace jack offsuit, 3-handed still. It looks like the whale just jammed over my river bet in the top 2 hand, and so this hand is like probably the next orbit or something. We're still 3-handed. I've built up to 1,300. The whale's got 1,400, so we're 130 effective deep, and the whale 3-bets to $90. I 4-bet to 230. Again, this guy was getting after it, 3-betting a ton, so ace jack off I thought would play better as a 4-bet. So I did it. Whale called, which is totally within the realm of expectation. And we get not the greatest of flops and not the worst of flops. So 7-7-4 rainbow. We have ace jack high. So we do beat, most of villain's ace highs. I presume that the whale would jam ace king, at least at some frequency. They're gonna 5-bet. So some removal there. They will have ace queen, and then they'll have a bunch of suited Broadway type hands or offsuit Broadway type hands, like probably queen jack off and king queen off, and yeah, just full complement of those category of hands. So I started out by betting a quarter. I wanted villain to maintain all of his king queen offs, king queen of diamonds, spades, clubs.
You're value betting.
Yeah, I'm essentially value betting here on the flop. Villain calls again. Very unsurprising. I actually don't expect villain to fold pretty much anything to this flop quarter c-bet. So on the turn, there's 689 in the pot. Not the greatest of turn cards. The 10 of clubs does promote villain's top pair hands, like king 10, ace 10, or villain's Broadway hands to top pair. So king 10, ace 10, jack 10, queen 10 all make top pair. And then it also puts up backdoor clubs. We don't have a club. So 689 in the pot. We've got 989 behind. Since I was value betting on the flop, I decided to check, give villain a chance to, bet with their just nothings. Villain obliges. They jam. And so, yeah, I think I've come this far, right? I can't really bail on my plan now.
This is what you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was what I was dreaming for. This was what I was desperately hoping would happen. So I call all in with ace high. River is the 5 of clubs, so that's not great. That's even more not great.
It doesn't matter.
When the hands went up after we got all in and villain showed ace queen high, I just sat there in stunned silence at my computer, pressing the reload button. It was sad times.
I really want to know what the third guy was thinking while just watching this happen. Just this train wreck. It's like, wow, am I at the table with 2 whales or what's going on right now?
I'm pretty sure he was thinking, hell yes, let's go. Like this villain now has 2,700 in front of him. You can, watch the P&E later on in the week and see if we claw any back, but I'm still a little bit traumatized from this guy just absolutely beating my brains in. So now let's go to the final hand here. That is another spot where we can potentially bluff catch with ace high in an all-in pot. I guess that's the loose theme. This time we have ace king though. My God, why couldn't we have ace king in the last one? That would have been the dream, right? Like I would have played it exactly the same. Like I wouldn't have done anything differently.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just have to eat the coolers. Ace jack versus ace queen on 7-7 4-10 or something. Like, sometimes that just happens.
Yeah, just 140 big blinds a piece.
What can you do? Everyone gets stacked there.
Yes. So ace king off. I open to 3 bigs. I believe one of the villains in this hand was a white belt, but doesn't matter now. The big blind 3 bets to like 11.25 big blinds or something of that nature. $57.50. We have ace king. So if we're going to go nuts with ace jack, we're certainly going to be going nuts with ace king. We 4-bet to 23 big blinds, $115. Big blind calls. We get another flop of our dreams, the tray 5-6 with the tray 6 of spades. Villain checks. There's 232 in the middle. Villain's got 385 behind. In this spot, I opted to check behind. Since this villain is a reg, I did think that they're probably going to shed some hands when I start betting, some like king queen of diamonds, queen jack of diamonds, ace jack of diamonds, ace 10 of diamonds. So I certainly didn't want them to shed hands here when I have ace king high. Ideally I would just be able to check it behind, but I don't think it was going to be one of those days where checking behind and checking it down was really on the menu. The turn is beautiful turn card. The 4 of spades. So tray 4, 5, 6 with 3 spades. I don't have a spade.
I have a straight draw.
Yeah, I do. I have a straight draw. Very good one, actually. Villain bets very tiny. Looks to be around, quarter pot. So they bet quarter pot. I'm getting 4 point whatever to 1. I think it's a pretty slam dunk, easy call with ace king high. Again, like we check behind the flop so the villain would have maintain a bunch of like ace jack of diamonds, ace whatevers, king queen, etc. So yeah, that's what enables us to call this tiny bet. Given the price.
We also have equity versus like their value stabbing range on the chart, right? Even if they have like an overpair or something like that,
sure.
Like it's not like the end of the world. So
right.
And then, like you said, we have a straight draw, so we could chop as well.
We could. We miss our straight draw. So tray 4, 5, 6, 9, 9 of diamonds on the river promotes, pocket nines to a set. I would say that's the hand that gets better here on the river. I don't think villain has a lot of 7x or deuce x, honestly. Like that's kind of a driving force to what I'm thinking at this stage of the hand. So like when they inevitably jam, because I spoiled it in the lead up that we're gonna have another spot where we can bluff catch with ace high. I was thinking to myself, like, does tens jam? Does jacks jam for value here on this run out? Like, what are they hoping to get called by? I didn't really think so. Like, I thought, like, their value bets are going to be some kind of weird 6-7 suited, maybe. If they ever have, like, ace deuce suited, that makes the bottom end of this straight.
I wouldn't expect ace suited. I think you're right that it is going to be like 6-7, 7-8, and then flushes, obviously.
Yeah, flushes, 6-7, 7-8. And then like maybe slow played aces, right? Slow played aces or kings. But I have an ace and a king, which reduces the possibility of aces and kings, and they're going to jam their aces and kings pre-flop at least some frequency, probably majority frequency. So anyway, I just thought, you know what? Since calling with my ace jack worked out so well, I'm just going to call again here on the river with ace king high. And hope that the monies get shipped my way. You have any thoughts here on the river, bluff catching with ace king high?
I think on the surface, this can look like a pretty nutty call. But I think once you start thinking about what their 4-bet peculiar ranges, it starts becoming a little bit more evident that it's pretty easy to be over bluffing the spot, right? If they're just going a little bit too crazy with like all their, suited broadways, and if they ever have an offsuit Broadway, maybe not, maybe they don't even have ace queen offsuit, but like if they're, they just have so many hands that are, absolutely nothing on this board that ace king is beating. And if we think about like their value range being, maybe even tighter than just all the over pairs, it just becomes so easy to start over bluffing here. So I think calling here with ace king is really good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That does wonders for my confidence after just being thoroughly deflated in the earlier hands. And villain has the ace jack of clubs, so thank the good Lord this one worked out well. This is a hand that probably would have called the flop and jammed the river, but if they are doing this with ace jack of clubs on the turn in the river, then they're also doing with ace jack of diamonds and ace 10 of diamonds and king queen of diamonds and king jack of diamonds and queen jack of diamonds, etc. So hearts, yes, hearts, diamonds, clubs. And hopefully they're not blessed enough to have the spades, because that's the one that makes the flushes and makes me look like a real big dummy here on Tactical Tuesday. So that's all I got for you in this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and be on the lookout for session where you get to watch me.
I want to see this P&E now. That's what I want to see, is this battle versus the crazy whale who just stacked you with ace queen high.
Yeah, forgive me if I don't rewatch it. I've had enough bad dreams about it to last me a while, so I'm good. That's all I got for this week.
See you next week.
Did you love the hands in today's episode? Smash that like button and show us your love.
This is Tactical Tuesday on Chasing Poker Greatness with your hosts, Brad Wilson and John Chai. Coach Brad approved. Are you a lone wolf searching for the ultimate pack? The CPG Wolf program is a close-knit brotherhood hell-bent on one thing only: chasing poker greatness. Powered by bleeding-edge wolf strats and led by Coach Brad and his lieutenants, CPG Wolves are systematically prepared for almost any spot they'll encounter on the green felt. If you want to plug into an elite team and have a step-by-step game plan to realize your full poker potential, you can apply at cpgwolves.com. Space is limited, and the pack is only as strong as its weakest member. So only the hungriest, grittiest, and most driven will be accepted into the program. Applications are open at cpgwolves.com.